So let's just settle into a nice, comfortable seated posture. And, you can have, if this works for you, both feet flat on the floor. So really try and get a sense of the sensations at the bottom of the foot. So I don't have any shoes or socks on right now, so I'm just in direct contact with the floor. And just feel the heels, the side of the foot, the big ball mound, the little tall ball mound, and all of our toes. And align your shoulders with your hips, and imagine your spine is just this beautiful string of pearls of light stretching from the base all the way up through the crown of their head and beyond. And just bring your awareness to the crown of the head and relax the scalp and the forehead, the nose, the cheeks, the mouth, back of the tongue, the back of the jaw. Relax the back of the head and allow your shoulders and shoulder blades to drop down, and relax the throat and the chest and the belly and all of your limbs. Notice the sensation of the air as you inhale and exhale. Be aware of any sounds in your environment and just allow those sounds to be there, trying not to follow with the mind. Just be aware of the thoughts that are arising in the mind. And think about how you talk to yourself about your body, for example. So we often refer to our bad knee, or I've got a bad foot. So think of the impact of saying that to someone else. Perhaps when you say it to yourself over and over again, oh, I've got this bad knee again, or I've got this problem here, or the body doesn't really know the difference when you talk to it like that. It's almost like a negative vibration you're sending towards yourself. So, instead you can sort of think of yourself as having my knee's changed as I've got older and it's getting a little more creative. So think of another way to talk to yourself about all the various bits and pieces that we've got going on in our bodies and our life. See if that changes anything for you. Just experiment with doing a little bit differently, because I think we all come down so hard on ourselves about everything. So here what we're doing is we're retraining our mind, our neurological pathways to go in different direction that might serve us a little better. So notice what thoughts are arising and allow those thoughts to be there. And then try not to follow them or engage in the story. And perhaps if they're thoughts that don't particularly serve you, you can put them on a nice white fluffy cloud and allow that cloud to just float away. And then bring to mind all these people of our life. We can start with the ones we really love. Then there's our strangers, many of them on the roads, in the stores. And then these ones we don't like, we don't trust. And maybe there's a good reason to stay away from them. But one thing is always really good to remember while we're loving one person and not liking another at all, or just not caring about anyone else, is that these relationships are interchangeable. But all of these people are equal in their wish to be happy, their wish to be free from suffering, and in having this extraordinary capacity for this Buddha mind. So I think we'll do this meditation this evening for all these people of our life, and by extension, all sentient beings. So we start, as usual, by thinking there is no negativity that can't be purified, and this purification process is basically a psychological one. So we create negativity with our mind, and equally we can change that by creating positivity instead. So we start with the power of regret, and sincerely regret from the depths of your heart anything you have done to harm any living being on this day, in this life, and in all of our past lives. And you can think of specific actions of both your body and your speech, and then in general, regret all. And the reason to regret is based on this logic of karma. And we experience everything due to our past karma, our past actions. And so having harmed others, we ourselves will necessarily experience suffering in the future. We cannot bear the thought of the future suffering that we will experience. And we know from our present suffering we don't want any more. So logically, it makes sense to remove the karmic seeds before they ripen as future suffering for us. So think like this. I regret from the depths of my heart having harmed others with my body and my speech, having broken my vows, because I do not want the future suffering. I'm sick of suffering. And also regret any anger, attachment, and the rest that are the cause of why we harm others. And then think again, I'm sick of this suffering. And then think, what can I do about it? Whom can I turn to? So here we come to the power of reliance. So we turn to the Buddha, who we see as a doctor, who has these methods that we can use to purify. So it's not that we're needing the Buddha to forgive us. We're purifying ourselves by relying upon his medicine, his methods. So you imagine Vajrasattva above the crown of your head, and you can also imagine that this is the mind of your teacher manifesting in this form, this miraculous Vajrasattva healing form for your benefit. So he's made of radiant, blissful white light, sitting cross-legged on a white lotus and a moon cushion. He has a beautiful, radiant face, and his eyes are long and peaceful and full of love and compassion for you and all those people of your life. He has a sweet red mouth. His hair is black and held up in a top knot. His arms are crossed at his heart, the left underneath the right. The left is holding a bell representing wisdom, and the right is holding a vajra, which represents the indestructibility of compassion. And their being crossed represents the union of these two. And this symbolizes enlightenment itself, the development of infinite wisdom and infinite compassion. To the Buddha, the Dharma, and the Sangha, I go for refuge until I'm enlightened. By this practice of meditating on Vajrasattva, Guru Vajrasattva, may I reach Buddhahood so as to benefit all sentient beings. So now we have this little section on compassion, and it's also underneath reliance, because in order to develop compassion, we need to rely upon other beings. It's almost like we need the ground to walk. No ground, no walking. We'd just be floating. So think of someone that you've harmed recently or in the past, and then think of those people who may have harmed you, and particularly for them, have compassion, because the harm they've caused you is going to result as suffering for them sometime in the future. So make a strong aspiration to do this practice of purification for the sake of all these beings, and think, I must purify for their sake. And now we come to this power of a remedy, and this is the medicine doing the practice of purification. And we start with the body. And Vajrasattva very compassionately sends powerful white nectar, like coming out of a hose, quite forcefully from his heart, and it arcs around and enters your crown and pours into your entire body, filling you completely. And it keeps pouring into you until it forces out of your lower orifices all the harm you have ever done to any living being with your body in the form of inky liquid. And this pours out of you and disappears into space, not one atom left as we recite the mantra. Vajrasattva samaya manupalaya Vajrasattva dina patita dita meboa sitokaya meboa sipokaya meboa anarakta meboa sawasidi mimpiyata sawa kamasita me sitam shriyam kuru hum ha ho bhagavan sawa tatagata vajramami mutsa vajrabawa mahasamaya satra aham pe. Vajrasattva samaya manupalaya Vajrasattva dina patita dita meboa sitokaya meboa sipokaya meboa Anarakta meboa sawasidi mimpiyata sawa kamasita me sitam shriyam kuru hum ha ho bhagavan sawa tatagata vajramami mutsa vajrabawa mahasamaya sakta aham pe. Vajrasattva samaya manupalaya Vajrasattva dina patita dita meboa sitokaya meboa sipokaya meboa Anarakta meboa sawasidi mimpiyata sawa kamasita me sitam shriyam kuru hum ha ho bhagavan sawa tatagata vajramami mutsa vajrabawa mahasamaya satra aham pe. Vajrasattva samaya manupalaya Vajrasattva dina patita dita meboa sitokaya meboa sipokaya meboa Anarakta meboa sawasidi mimpiyata sawa kamasita me sitam shriyam kuru hum ha ho bhagavan sawa tatagata vajramami mutsa vajrabawa mahasamaya satra aham pe. Vajrasattva samaya manupalaya Vajrasattva dina patita dita meboa sitokaya meboa sipokaya meboa Anarakta meboa sawasidi mimpiyata sawa kamasita me sitam shriyam kuru hum ha ho bhagavan sawa tatagata vajramami mutsa vajrabawa mahasamaya satra aham pe. Vajrasattva samaya manupalaya Vajrasattva dina patita dita meboa sitokaya meboa sipokaya meboa Anarakta meboa sawasidi mimpiyata sawa kamasita me sitam shriyam kuru hum ha ho bhagavan sawa tatagata vajramami mutsa vajrabawa mahasamaya satra aham pe. Vajrasattva samaya manupalaya Vajrasattva dina patita dita meboa sitokaya meboa sipokaya meboa Anarakta meboa sawasidi mimpiyata sawa kamasita me sitam shriyam kuru hum ha ho bhagavan sawa tatagata vajramami mutsa vajrabawa mahasamaya satra aham pe. And then be delighted that all the harm you've ever done to any sentient being with your body is now completely purified, and think that there's no way you could do anything but benefit others now with your body. And next is the purification of our speech. And Vajrasattva very happily sends powerful nectar from his heart chakra. And this arcs around and quite forcefully enters your crown and fills your entire body, except this time forcing up to the top of your body all the negativity of your speech. And this overflows and disappears into space, not one atom left. So you imagine all this kind of inappropriate speech, lack of wisdom speech, like you blurt things out, gossip, talking about other people behind their backs and getting other people to agree with you, and harsh speech, speech talking roughly to people and yelling at them, berating them, telling them off. Useless speech, I think we already mentioned, and lying. And all of this is purified by this powerful nectar filling you as you recite the mantra. Vajrasattva samaya manupalaya Vajrasattva dina patita dita meboa sitokaya meboa sipokaya meboa Anarakta meboa sawasidi mimpiyata sawa kamasita me sitam shriyam kuru hum ha ho bhagavan sawa tatagata vajramami mutsa vajrabawa mahasamaya satra aham pe. Vajrasattva samaya manupalaya Vajrasattva dina patita dita meboa sitokaya meboa sipokaya meboa Anarakta me boa sabasiti mimpi yatta sawa kama sita me. Sitam Shriam Guru Hum Ha Ho Bhagavan Sawa Tata Gata Vajramami Mutta Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sata Ah Hum Pe Vajrasafa Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasafa Dina Patita Dida Meboa Situkaya Meboa Sipokaya Meboa Anarakta Meboa Sabasidi Mimpi Yatta Sawa Kama Sita Me Sitam Shriam Guru Hum Ha Ho Bhagavan Sawa Tata Gata Vajramami Mutta Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sata Ah Hum Pe Vajrasafa Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasafa Dina Patita Dida Meboa Situkaya Meboa Sipokaya Meboa Anarakta Meboa Sawasidi Mimpi Yatta Sawa Kama Sita Me Sitam Shriam Guru Hum Ha Ho Bhagavan Sawa Tata Gata Vajramami Mutta Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sata Ah Hum Pe Vajrasafa Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasafa Dina Patita Dida Meboa Situkaya Meboa Sipokaya Meboa Anarakta meboa sabasidi mimpi yatta sawa kama sita me sitam shriam kuru hum ha ho bhagavan sawa tata gata vajramami mutta vajrabawa mahasamaya sata a hum pe vajrasafa samaya manupalaya vajrasafa dina patita dida meboa situkaya meboa sipokaya meboa Anarakta meboa sabasidi mimpi yatta sawa kama sita me sitam shriam kuru hum ha ho bhagavan Sawa Tata Gata Vajramami Mutta Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sata A Hum Pe Vajrasafa Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasafa Dina Patita Dida Meboa Situkaya Meboa Sipokaya Meboa Anarakta Meboa Sawasidi Mimpi Yatta Sawa Kama Sita Me Sitam Shriam Kuru Hum Ha Ho Bhagavan Sawa Tata Gata Vajramami Mutta Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sata A Hum Pe. So again, feel so happy that your speech is now completely purified, and imagine it's not possible to do anything other than benefit others with your speech. And this includes yourself. And next is the purification of our minds. And Vajrasattva now very compassionately sends powerful beams of light from his heart chakra, and this arcs around and enters your crown and fills your entire being. So you imagine you've walked into a room, you flick on the switch, and the darkness that comes the light that comes instantly dispels the darkness. And this is so the same here. The moment the light from Vajrasattva's heart hits your heart chakra, all the darkness of the negativity of your mind, so all your attachments and neediness, and bitterness and grudges, anxiety, depression, all of this instantly dispelled, not one atom left as we recite the mantra. Vajrasattva samaya manupalaya Vajrasattva dina patita dida meboa sutokaya meboa sipokaya meboa anarakta meboa sawasidi mempi yatta sawa kama sita me sitam shriam kuru hum ha ho bhagavan sawa tata gata vajramami mutta vajrabawa mahasamaya satra a hum pe Vajrasattva samaya manupalaya Vajrasattva dina patita dida meboa sutokaya meboa sipokaya meboa Anarakta meboa sawasidi mimpi yatta sawa kama sita me sitam shriam kuru hum ha ho bhagavan sawa tata gata vajramami mutta vajrabawa mahasamaya sata a hum pe Vajrasattva samaya manupalaya Vajrasattva dina patita dida meboa situkaya meboa sipokaya meboa Anarakta meboa sawasidi mimpi yatta sawa kama sita me sitam shriam kuru hum ha ho bhagavan sawa tata gata vajramami mutta vajrabawa mahasamaya sata a hum pe Vajrasattva samaya manupalaya Vajrasattva dina patita dida meboa situkaya meboa sipokaya meboa Anarakta meboa sawasidi mimpi yatta sawa kama sita me sitam shriam kuru hum ha ho bhagavan sawa tata gata vajramami mutta vajrabawa mahasamaya sata a hum pe Vajrasattva samaya manupalaya Vajrasattva dina patita dida meboa situkaya meboa sipokaya meboa Anarakta meboa sawasidi mimpi yatta sawa kama sita me sitam shriam kuru hum ha ho bhagavan sawa tata gata vajramami mutta vajrabawa mahasamaya satra a hum pe Vajrasattva samaya manupalaya Vajrasattva dina patita dida meboa situkaya meboa sipokaya meboa Anarakta me boa sawa siddhi mimpi yatta sawa kama sita me. Sitam Shriyam Kuru Hum Ha Ho Bhagavan Sawa Tata Gata Vajramami Mutta Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sata Ah Hum Pe Vajrasafa Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasafa Dina Patita Dida Meboa Situkaya Meboa Sipokaya Meboa Anarakta Meboa Sawa Siddhi Mimpi Yatta Sawa Kama Sita Me Sitam Shriyam Kuru Hum Ha Ho Bhagavan Sawa Tata Gata Vajramami Mutta Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sata Ah Hum Pe. So again, be delighted that all your delusions, which are the source of all of our own suffering and the cause of why we harm others with our body and our speech, are completely purified. And think that there's no space in your heart now for anything other than love and kindness and forgiveness and wisdom and bliss and compassion. And next is the purification of even the imprints of negativity of our body, speech, and mind. And imagine now that Vajrasattva sends light and also nectar, and this fills you completely and eradicates even the subtlest imprints of negative energy from your mind. As we recite the mantra again, it's sort of like when you, the analogy that they use in the text is, you've had a jar full of garlic and you've washed it out, and then you've taken the garlic out and you need to wash it again to get that extra, that's the strong smell out. So, these karmic imprints, it's just kind of like a residue. It's just an imprint. I guess if you think of a footprint in a sand or something like that, it's just, it kind of washes this imprint away. And it's as if it wasn't there. Vajrasattva Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dina Patita Dida Meboa Situkaya Meboa Sipokaya Meboa Anurakta Meboa Sawasidi Mimpi Yatta Sawa Kama Sita Me Sitam Shriyam Kuru Hum Ha Ho Bhagavan Sawa Tata Gata Vajramami Mutta Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Satra Ah Hum Pe Vajrasattva Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dina Patita Dida Meboa Situkaya Meboa Sipokaya Meboa Anurakta Meboa Sawasidi Mimpi Yatta Sawa Kama Sita Me Sitam Shriyam Kuru Hum Ha Ho Bhagavan Sawa Tata Gata Vajramami Mutta Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sata Ah Hum Pe Vajrasattva Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dina Patita Dida Meboa Situkaya Meboa Sipokaya Meboa Anurakta Meboa Sawasidi Mimpi Yatta Sawa Kama Sita Me Sitam Shriyam Kuru Hum Ha Ho Bhagavan Sawa Tata Gata Vajramami Mutta Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sata Ah Hum Pe Vajrasattva Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dina Patita Dida Meboa Situkaya Meboa Sipokaya Meboa Anurakta Meboa Sawasidi Mimpi Yatta Sawa Kama Sita Me Sitam Shriyam Kuru Hum Ha Ho Bhagavan Sawa Tata Gata Vajramami Mutta Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sata Ah Hum Pe Vajrasattva Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dina Patita Dida Meboa Situkaya Meboa Sipokaya Meboa Anurakta Meboa Sawasidi Mimpi Yatta Sawa Kama Sita Me Sitam Shriyam Kuru Hum Ha Ho Bhagavan Sawa Tata Gata Vajramami Mutta Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sata Ah Hum Pe Vajrasattva Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dina Patita Dida Meboa Situkaya Meboa Sipokaya Meboa Anurakta Meboa Sawasidi Mimpi Yatta Sawa Kama Sita Me Sitam Shriyam Kuru Hum Ha Ho Bhagavan Sawa Tata Gata Vajramami Mutta Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sata Ah Hum Pe Vajrasattva Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dina Patita Dida Meboa Situkaya Meboa Sipokaya Meboa Anurakta Meboa Sawasidi Mimpi Yatta Sawa Kama Sita Me Sitam Shriyam Kuru Hum Ha Ho Bhagavan Sawa Tata Gata Vajramami Mutta Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sata Ah Hum Pe. So now feel you are completely purified and there's not one atom of negativity left in your mind stream. Even the subtlest obscurations to our enlightenment have been removed. And now we come to the power of resolve. And this is the fourth and final step in the purification process. And it's a really crucial one. And this is this determination to not harm with our body and our speech and our mind. And without this, we're going to keep doing the same old things over and over again. Same old habit patterns, same old energy habits. So this determination, this aspiration to not harm is like a beacon that guides our body and our speech and our mind in new directions, more positive directions. So you can start by rejoicing your efforts coming along here tonight. And then think about maybe all the things you've been working on, some of you the last 3.5 years. It's amazing. And if you are journaling, sometimes it's good to go back and just review. And then think of something as you move forward, something you'd like to work on, that you're continuing to work on. And for some of us, some of the things that we have, some of our habits might be lifelong, particularly when it comes to, how we talk to ourselves. Look, it's a really important one to shine a light on, bring some awareness around. And this determination to refrain from doing something is what gives us strength to change. So imagine Vajrasattva is delighted with us and wants to merge with your mind and melts into white light and absorbs into you through your crown, and think, my teacher's body, speech, and mind, Vajrasattva's body, speech, and mind, and my own body, speech, and mind are the same. So next, Rinpoche would recommend to meditate on emptiness. So he would say, in emptiness, there is no I, the creator of negative karma. There is no action of creating negative karma. And there is no negative karma created. So at whatever level you understand emptiness, place your mind there for a little while. We can think of all phenomena as being empty. They do not exist from their own side. And you can also think the way things appear to me may not necessarily be the way they actually exist. So let's just dedicate all the merit, all the positive energy you've created by doing this practice to all living beings, and think, may all the virtuous karma I've created from doing this Vajrasattva practice ripen as my enlightenment for the sake of sentient beings as quickly as possible. Okay, so let's do our chanting the names of Manjushri. And so the aims of helpless mundane beings who seek the fruits of perfect liberation, just this taught in the Mahayajala is the noble path that leads to excellence. With largeness, vastness, and profundity, with meaning great, achieving beings' aims, just this comprises every Buddha's sphere. Just this is taught by all awakened ones. Wow, we've finished it. Back to chapter 1. Let's do the first verse of chapter 1. Well done, everyone. Yay. Okay. Homage to ever, let's just do the homage to ever youthful Manjushri, 1, the request. Then Vajradhara, ever glorious, supreme subduer of the hard to tame, the hero conquering the triple world, the Vajra Lord, a master of all secrets. Okay. All right, everyone. Thank you so very much. Don't forget to dedicate the practice we did this evening for the benefit of all, for His Holiness the